What's up everybody, my name's Andy and welcome back to KitGuru. Almost everyone knows that Razer makes high-end gaming laptops in excess of £3,000. But what if gaming isn't the reason you're seeking a new portable laptop? Maybe you're looking for an ultra-portable laptop that doesn't compromise on quality, productivity for your work environment. Well, that's what Razer are offering with their latest range of Razer Book 13 Ultrabooks. Starting from £1,200, we're going to be checking out their most expensive and kitted out Book 13 that comes in at £1,999.99. But are you really willing to spend £2,000 just to check your emails and use Office? Is it worth it? Let's find out. Before we begin, make sure you smash that like and subscribe button to see our latest tech videos, and don't forget we have written articles over on KitGuru.net too. Spec-wise, our model has an 11th gen Intel Core i7-1165 G7 quad-core processor with Intel Iris Xe graphics, Windows 10 Home, 13.4-inch UHD 60Hz touch display, 512GB SSD, 16GB DDR4 dual-channel RAM, a 55 watt-hour battery claiming to have 14 hours battery life, we will test that. Product code for our specific model is RZ09-03571-WM2-R3W1. Connectivity-wise, we get a USB 3.1 Gen 1 USB-A x1, Thunderbolt 4 USB-C plus power, so that's two of those, HDMI 2.0 x1, micro SD slot, a 3.5mm combo jack, and that's the connectivity. Let's dive right in with the Razer Book 13's size, because being an Ultrabook, it's all about being compact and portable. Dimensions are 15.15 by 198.5 by 295.6mm, and it weighs 1.4 kg. Size-wise, I actually think it's great. It's small and thin enough to slip into almost any backpack or messenger bag, whilst retaining a decent sized keyboard and a very usable 13.4-inch display, more on these later. It is fairly weighty at 1.4 kilograms, but it is an anodized aluminium unibody design, reminiscent of the older Apple MacBook Pros. And personally, I like that it has some weight behind it, and I also like the metal construction because it does give it an air of quality. If it was super lightweight and made out of plastic, I think it would feel like a bit of a toy, and I'd be dubious of its longevity or build quality. Taking a look at build quality, it's actually great. There's no rattle from any of the keys on the keyboard, and the screen lid opens smoothly with enough resistance to hold the screen up at an angle. I also like that once the screen is opened further than 90 degrees, the back edge of the screen tilts the base of the system up for better airflow and also a better keyboard angle. If we take a look at the back, with the lid closed, you can see the rubber strip with two small raised areas on each side. These are used to raise the Book 13 up when the screen is fully open. Aesthetically, it's super simple. Just like Razer's Blade series, they've gone for an understated design that is clean and professional, showing off that metal body. I think it's a great choice, especially since this is an Ultrabook aimed at productivity. The Book 13 will definitely fit right into place in any work environment. In the center of the lid, we have Razer's three-headed snake logo in chrome. Flipping it over, we have two large rubber standoffs and two airflow vents on either side, with fans placed beneath them. On the front lip, there's a large cutout to open the lid, but the lid feels like it's also shut magnetically, and I can only open it, easily at least, if I use my thumbnail to pry it open. So for those of you without any nails, this might actually be frustrating for you to open quickly at least. Opening up the Book 13, you'll notice the large black display area, the keyboard, the speakers on either side, and the large trackpad. The screen is 13.4 inches. It's a UHD display with a 16:10 aspect ratio. It also has touchscreen too, and what I really liked to see was the inclusion of Gorilla Glass 6 to greater protect it. Turning on the Book 13, you'll notice the almost bezel-less design. There is a tiny forehead and chin, but since the bezels on either side are so small, it makes you hardly notice them at all, to be honest. The display itself is super bright at maximum brightness. It's crisp and it's razor sharp with the UHD resolution and that extra space from the 16:10 aspect ratio. It really does help on that smaller size of the screen as well. The actual resolution is 3840 by 2400. Windows is set to 200% scale, and honestly, you wouldn't want it any less than this, otherwise everything just becomes so small you can hardly see it. I like the inclusion of the touchscreen, despite the fact that I didn't really use it much. It's a feature I think certain people will benefit from, but if you're like me and not overly fussed about it, then you can get a Full HD non-touch display model instead. The only thing I don't like about the display is the super high gloss finish. Not only does it attract fingerprints everywhere if you're using the touchscreen, but you're also going to get glared to death if you have any light source angled towards it, like a window or if you're outside. Some might not mind this, but I much prefer an anti-glare monitor myself, but the benefit of the Razer screen is better color accuracy and of course the benefit of the touchscreen integration. Anti-glare monitors often have worse color reproduction too. Tucked in the top forehead bezel is a 720p webcam and microphones. This is aimed at productivity after all, so no doubt you'll be needing this for plenty of online meetings where you're required to show yourself. Providing you have enough light, the image quality is actually surprisingly good. I find pretty much all laptops built-in webcams to be poor, but despite the noticeable lack of detail from the 720p feed, the image is more than usable for who this is aimed at least. The same can be said for the microphone quality. It's definitely passable. Here's a quick webcam and microphone test for you.
Okay, so this is the Razer Book 13, and here's a webcam test. I personally think it looks pretty good for a 720p webcam. I'll show you my phone quickly, just so you can see if something's held up. And let's open up the screen. I think it's pretty clear. And this is obviously a microphone test at the same time, so I'm going to be silent for a few seconds just so you can hear the ambient room tone. There are birds living in the wall, so you might hear them tweeting and stuff like that, so let's hear. Well, there we go. Let's see how this sounded and what you think of the webcam as well.
Moving on to the keyboard, the Book 13 has a Razer Chroma RGB keyboard, and would you expect anything less from Razer? I wouldn't. The keyboard has per key RGB and can be customized via the Synapse software. The RGB brightness is excellent and the colors are bright and vivid. This definitely helped me when using the Book 13 at night, as it illuminates the keys very well. Now, I personally kept the RGB to single color across the entire board, as some of the quick effects like wave were just too distracting, especially if you're trying to work, which is who this is aimed at. It's a nice feature to have though, and you have plenty of options to customize. You can also use the FN keys to adjust brightness of the RGB easily, but there's no shortcut to quickly set a single color from the FN keys. Kind of disappointing there. Overall, it is a little strange to see full per key RGB on a work-orientated laptop. Using the keyboard, well, I have mixed feelings, sadly. I myself struggled when trying to type anything, to be honest. I found I kept missing keys, and often I thought I'd pressed the key, but it didn't actually actuate, so half of my words were misspelt. The tiny backspace key also meant I kept pressing the plus and minus key instead as well, and this was frustrating. All of this can be gotten used to, but the adjustment period for me was much greater than I anticipated. If I were to be using this for a work environment, I'd definitely be using an external keyboard plugged in, but then that kind of defeats the purpose of an ultra compact Ultrabook. This could just be me, however, and if you're used to using smaller laptops like this, then I don't think you'll really have much of an adjustment period. It won't be as drastic as my own. The trackpad, on the other hand, is excellent. It's huge, it's very responsive, and it's nice to the touch too. You can press the trackpad almost anywhere to engage the left click, but for the right click, you have to be right down in the bottom right, and I did like this. I actually really liked how intuitive and responsive this was, and I much prefer an oversized trackpad like this one. Gesture control worked great too, and I didn't have any issues engaging the trackpad when typing either. Speakers can be found on either side of the keyboard, and honestly, I wasn't expecting much due to the size of this unit. I also find all laptop speakers pretty weak, and they often rattle something inside, causing annoying vibrations at certain volumes, and that's a pet hate of mine. I'd much rather just use headphones any day of the week, but I was pleasantly surprised here. The audio is actually pretty clean without any chassis rattle at all, and yes, it is very low on the bass side, and that is to be expected because it's an Ultrabook. It's quite trebly with lots of high end overall, but, you know, I'm quite impressed with the audio. I expected it to be unusable, but around 50%, it's not only loud enough, but it brings those highs down just a tad. Going from 50% to 100%, there's only an increase of 10 decibels, whereas going from 10% to 50%, there's a difference of 20. I'd say this performs best at around 75% volume. Here's a sound test of the speakers between 10%, 50%, and 100%. Next, I wanted to open up the Book 13 to see if we can see exactly what drive Razer are using and to see if the RAM is accessible or not. Once we take the back off, we can see the 55 watt-hour battery mentioned earlier. That will benchmark soon, by the way, stick around. We can also see that the drive used here is the Samsung PM981A, which is an OEM drive only, which is accessible, so you can always swap this out in the future if you really wanted to. The RAM is soldered onto the board, so there's no accessible SODIMM slots, therefore you can't upgrade these in future. Finally, we can see that Razer are using a vapor chamber for the CPU cooling too, and they often use this on their other laptops. Now, before we look at our benchmarks results, let's quickly go over Razer Synapse as it's pre-installed on the system. On the dashboard, select the Book 13. Despite not being aimed at gamers, we still have a game mode option to disable certain keys if you wish. I was a bit surprised to see this personally. You can also change the function keys to multimedia keys too. On the lighting tab, you can change the system lighting when plugged in or on battery and when to switch off that lighting. You can also change the quick effects for the RGB keyboard or launch the advanced effects. The performance tab lets you choose preset modes and adjust fan speed as well as change the refresh rate of the screen too. Okay, let's dive into some benchmarks. All tests were done with a laptop plugged in, set to the best performance mode in Windows and in Razer Synapse software. So let's start with our CPU performance. Our Book 13 has the Intel Core i7-1165G7 with 4 cores, 8 threads running at 2.8 GHz and a max TDP of 28 watts. Running Cinebench R15 gave us a multi-core score of 934 and a single-core score of 229. Being an Ultrabook, these were pretty much to be expected. For our Cinebench R20 and 23 benchmarks, I compared our results to Luke's Razer Blade Stealth 13 results, which had the same Intel Core i7-1165G7 inside. The Razer Blade Stealth 13 just takes the lead in both Cinebench R20 and 23, but not by much. This was to be expected as our Razer Book 13 is an Ultrabook with a 65 watt power adapter compared to the Blade Stealth 13, which is a bigger laptop with better cooling, and it also has a 100 watt power adapter. Time taken to render our BMW CPU benchmark in Blender 2.93 was 8 minutes and 37 seconds or 517 seconds. PC Mark 10 scored well overall and shows how capable the system is as a whole. Testing our 512GB SSD, which is the Samsung PM981A OEM drive, Crystal Disk Mark shows it's more than capable at 3,500 megabytes read and almost 3,000 megabytes write, and these are really good results, especially being an Ultrabook. Ada64 results showed our 16 gigabytes DDR4 RAM is very quick with high scoring read, write and copy results from this benchmark. Looking at the graphics capability from the Intel Iris Xe graphics, we ran 3D Mark Time Spy and the results were to be expected. Despite not being a gaming laptop, I wanted to test how it would handle some light gaming at 1080p nonetheless. Counter-Strike Global Offensive at 1080p full screen set to high with VSync, motion blur and anti-aliasing disabled gave us an average of just under 70 FPS and 1% lows of 27 FPS. Not ideal, but playable if you really wanted to. Finally, I tested Team Fortress 2, 1080p full screen set to high, VSync, motion blur and AA disabled, and we got much better results here with just under 180 FPS average and 90 FPS 1% low. And this was really fun to play, especially with the bright and vivid screen on the Book 13. It's not a gaming laptop at all, but if you're in a pinch, some easy to run esports titles should play fine. CPU temperatures were pretty good considering the small enclosed design, and you can see it reaches 80 degrees when running Cinebench R20, but this is quite a load, and in general people will most likely just be emailing or looking at documents on this kind of thing, so it shouldn't get that hot. Here you can see an R20 run and you can see the clock speed boosts up to 4.1 GHz at the start, and then it drops down to around 3.5 GHz. Noise-wise, it's pretty quiet at 42 decibels idle, and it didn't get much louder than that, even under full load too. Lastly, PC Mark 10's battery benchmark Modern Office saw a total charge last 541 minutes, or 9 hours and 1 minute. That's pretty good, and in actual use, you can expect to get more than this, so I think Razer's claim of 14 hours battery life is actually pretty accurate, but of course it depends on how you're using it. Overall, I think the benchmark results were spot on for this Ultrabook, and it shows that it's more than capable for those looking for a device aimed at productivity and workflow. So in conclusion, I think the Razer Book 13 is a great all-rounder. It ticks all the boxes of being aesthetically pleasing whilst having great build quality and a beautiful, almost bezel-less UHD touch display. The webcam and microphones are more than usable for business calls, and my time with the device saw no issues. It's snappy and quick to respond when powering up, launching programs and everything else I threw at it all worked well. The biggest letdowns for me being the keyboard. I mistyped constantly and keys weren't always actuated. The glare from the screen irritated me in certain scenarios on occasion too, and that was a little bit frustrating. Is it worth buying? I'd say it is. If you're looking for an ultra-portable compact system for productivity, then yes, it is, and having a few other models on offer could see you save some money too if you didn't want to shell out the full £2,000 for the highest spec model. If you're not fussed about having a compact system, or your workflow requires heavy video editing, for example, then I'd say no. There's plenty of gaming laptops at the £2,000 mark that will better perform for things like video editing. So what do you guys think about the Book 13 by Razer? Let us know down in the comments. Do you use Ultrabooks or do you prefer full-size laptops? We'd love to hear. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's review. Smash that like button, hit the subscribe, check out our merch down below, check out our website daily for tech news. I'm Andy, this is KitGuru. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.